let's take a look at feeds and speeds. There is a feeds and speed editor that comes with CamWorks. It can be downloaded and installed. I recommend installing it because it does give you a good baseline for speeds and feeds and how it works based on material. We're just going to go to the feed and speed editor. You can see it brings up a microestimating library. And then this tells you, based upon a material list, the pounds per cubic inch, turn horsepower inches minute, drill horsepower inches minute, mill horsepower inches per minute. If I go to speeds and feeds tab, then I can select based on the material type. So let's say we're going to do 1018. The operation is 2 and 3 axis rough and finish mill. The class of machine, if it's a light duty versus medium duty, we'll just pick light duty. You can see these numbers change. This is a pretty cool database here because it actually takes the speeds based on the diameter of end mill and the radial depth of cut. It gives you inch per tooth and surface feet per minute. Now what's cool about this is it has it listed out up to 2 inches for end mills, for carbide end mills to be more specific. And one of the cool things about this is like, let's say generally across the board you run a little bit faster than the average Joe. Instead of manually updating each of these individually, you can say, I want to do a quick change. I want the speed to update by 10%. And you can see that entire database just updated by 10%. Once this is saved, then CamWorks will start pulling this information automatically. So if you go from library, it pulls from the speeds and feeds library right here. This is pretty cool because it does cover most of your basic machining. It also covers turning, tapping, reaming, and face mills. So if you had face mills for your depth of cut, depending upon the type of machine that you're running, depending upon whether it's high-speed steel or carbide, and depending upon the material type, so let's say we go down to 6061 T6, you can see that this information all changes. And it's a really good reference and database to follow because you can easily make changes to this across the board, and then you can also add in more information here in the database as you go. It's a pretty cool area to work with. I still fall under the belief that if you adjust it as you go in CamWorks and save the operation plan, you'll end up with all of the settings that you want to have anyway. But if you like coming in and changing databases and working with numbers and matrices, this is a pretty awesome place to get everything fixed. So from here, we're just going to hit X, and that takes us back to our main page. Now, from here, we could spend hours and hours and hours in the technology database making changes, seeing how everything works, understanding each individual level of end mill versus depth versus pocket size. But this gives you a good overview on how those changes can be made. The nice thing about this is once any of this stuff is saved in Access, if you just hit the exit button, everything's saved, you leave. Next time you run CamWorks or work with it, that information will be there automatically for you. One thing I would recommend is if you're going to work in the technology database, close down your part and what you're programming first, so that way when you open up CamWorks from inside SolidWorks or Solid Edge as a session, it automatically pulls this information again and everything is up to date. That would be the only recommendation I have for you, but that's a quick overview of the tech database and how everything works inside of CamWorks to teach the tool to do what you want to do. Thank you.